Hello, this is Bryant from Current Auto Performance, and I'm going to give you a quick overview on how to set up timing control on a Holley Sniper when using a Pertronix distributor. I tried to find out how to do this, and there's scattered information out there, but no one had the answer. Pertronix was helpful with information, and EFI Source Pro was very helpful with information. And a lot of Google searching, I figured it all out. So here's what I did. So I did this on a 71 Cadillac hearse that we had installed the engine with an 871 blower and Holley Sniper, Super Sniper fuel injection. We tried to get away without timing control using just an MSD boost timing retard, but idle stability was a real problem. So we needed to activate timing control, and I couldn't find anything for the Pertronix ready-to-run billet distributor. So first thing that came up when I was talking to Pertronix is we have to run their 2 series. The 3 series has a multi-spark trigger, so it's going to send out too many pulses to the sniper and trigger that. So I have to make 2 modifications to the distributor to do this. First, you have to lock out the mechanical advance, and that's pretty straightforward. You just want to remove the distributor cap, and underneath it is some springs and weights that you remove. And then you want to get a lockout plate for a GM distributor, and it'll go right over the posts of the springs and weights, and that locks out the mechanical advance. The second thing to do is you have to get an MSD adjustable distributor rotor, and that's because we're going to change the trigger time of the distributor in relationship to the rotor post phasing on the distributor cap. So that was pretty straightforward and easy to do. To set the phasing on the rotor, I took an old cap and you cut a window out, and these instructions do come with the MSD rotor, and you put your cap on, and that lets you, while you're running, take the timing light. The blower's in the way. You can take the timing light and point it in there, and you can see when it lines up. Distributor with the phasing set up. See, you put the timing light on it. Spin it around. See the black marks that I put on the rotor are lined up with the post. Put a bunch of advance into it. Yeah, so if you put advance at 40, that is where the marks lined up with the rotor centered, or the non-adjustable rotor. You can see the spark would have to jump a pretty good gap and actually risk jumping to the other post here. Initially, we had the rotor centered, and it was off almost, it was shooting over here, close to the middle. So we adjusted the rotor to this point, and it got lined up. Also, check it on your timing sweep. So using the Holley Sniper display, it shows the timing that it's at. So at idle, we have it at low, and I put marks on the rotor indicator, and the timing light would be near one end of the mark. When you rev it up, it moved to the other end of the mark. So that means my rotor is staying lined up with the post on the cap. So that's the key of phasing, to keep the rotor tip so it overlaps the post in the distributor during the timing sweep that goes on during engine acceleration. Next thing is wiring it to work correctly. It's really simple, and it was really hard to find the info. So the Pertronix has just 2 wires. It has a red wire and a black wire. Pertronix has the red wire go to the positive of the ignition coil or an ignition feed source from the ignition switch, and then the black wire is the trigger wire. It works like points wire and triggers the negative side of the coil. You're going to need an ignition box or the Holley coil driver to make it all work. So we take the red wire, ignition feed, that's self-explanatory. But you take the black wire and it comes back over here. This is Holley's magnetic pickup input feed. So the black wire is spliced into the purple wire on that, which is the positive side of the trigger. And then, so it's just a single wire, purple, plugs into the plug. I believe this wire came with the Sniper kit. And then that gives the right signal for Holley to have timing control. Then the Holley has an output wire which goes out and triggers your ignition system. Just follow Holley's instructions on wiring that side of the system. Okay, next is setting it up in the Holley software. This was a tricky thing to find info on, but I found it and figured it out. So first thing you have to do is already have your tune made and ready to run, and the easiest way to do that is using the wizard. And then you can hook up your computer through a USB cable, or you can take an SD card and bring the tune to your computer and do it through the USB card or the SD card. So first we want to start out with the system ICF. And then it comes up with engine parameters. You're going to go induction type. You have all these choices. So if you didn't have timing control, you're running coil negative. What we want is the Hyperspark distributor. And then next, you need to set the reference angle. So I set it at 40. It doesn't have to be 40, but it has to be greater than the max timing that you want to achieve. And you need to set the distributor up with it at 40 degrees on the crank to be on the distributor trigger. And then last is the inductive delay. It generically set up at 250, and that was too much. So what inductive delay does is when you rev up the engine, the timing should stay in sync. But it was getting over advanced in mine, so I knocked it down to 150 and I checked it again, and then the timing always stayed in sync with what the Sniper was setting it at. So with those settings, you can start the car, and then you need to verify with a timing light that the timing is correct. So in summary, you need a Pertronix distributor. It has to be their 2, not their 3. You need a mechanical advanced lockout plate for GM distributor. It works on both their small cap and their big cap HEI stuff. You need the MSD phasable rotor, and you need a Holley Sniper EFI system. You want to lock out the mechanical advance. You want to take the phasable rotor and install that in place of the fixed rotor. You want to install the distributor so its trigger point is 40 degrees before top dead center. And then you want to take a throwaway distributor cap and window it so you'll be able to verify this once you get running. You'll want to wire the Pertronix positive to an ignition feed, the negative to the purple wire on the magnetic input of the Holley Sniper. Then you need to go into the software. You need to select Hyperspark Distributor. You need to set the inductive pickup. Shoot, I don't remember that term. You guys will figure it out, to 40 degrees or wherever you want it. But remember, you need enough to cover your timing spread. And then you can start it at this point, at which point is when you want to verify timing. And the timing should match whatever is coming up on the Holley display. This should get you going and running. And I hope you enjoy having timing control with your Sniper fuel injection.